Tonight's TV program, we're going to be doing Gary Moore versus
Gary Moore Part 2.
Part 2. Hello, George.
Hey, mate. How you doing? We are the Thamesmen.
We are.
And we are here for another episode, another battle, another face-to-face, a mano a mano.
Mono a mono. So for those who have not seen our, very high quality content that we push out at least twice a week, what it is we pick a band, normally on a Wheel of Fortune, and then from that band, we then both go away and pick two tracks which are live. And we go head to head and we score. George went forward with, what was your track, George, by Gary Moore?
It was called The Shape of Things. It was recorded in 1984. It was a recommendation from one of our subscribers. It was a great track, a cracking solo. And it was Mr. Fender, Gary Moore. Now,
yes, it was brilliant. He was on a Fender and it was, oh my God, I've never seen it. That solo is just gobsmackingly utterly mind-blowing.
Yep.
Brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. So how are you going to challenge that?
So, I know no Gary Moore, and no Gary Moore. But so I read their comments, and I went in there, I know no Gary Moore. But everyone has said, and Rob Allen, thank you, Rob Allen, Parisian Walkway for the Montreux Festival. So I went and checked it out. He's playing a Les Paul, which I prefer. It is, oh my God, it's,
I haven't seen this version, I'll be honest. But Parisian Walkways is the one that comes up again and again as just like the masterpiece, doesn't it? So you may well be winning this one, but I think my track was better than my last Gary Moore track. So
maybe this one was just so obvious, but there again, until I followed the subs, I hadn't seen it. It blew me away. So anyway, let's see, and then we'll score it at the end.
Okay. All right. Well, should we dive straight into this? And
put your very small headphones on.
You've got envy. You got
put
headphone
your
envy.
earbuds on.
You're just like a Apple fanboy with your little white things.
We'll start the record, shall we, George? In vinyl. Can you hear me? Right.
What was that, sir?
Are you ready? Gary Moore, Parisian Walkways, live in Montreux, 2010. 3, 2, 1, boom.
remember Paris, 49, the Champs-Élysées, Saint-Michel and old Beaujolais wine. And I recall that you were mine. looking back at the photograph. Those summer days spent outside corner cafes. Oh, I could write you paragraphs about The bass guitar.
Right. That was pretty amazing. That was pretty amazing. I mean, okay, very different from our earlier track.
Really different. I mean,
his guitar, the sustain is unbelievable.
the sustain, I was thinking about that. You know when he hits that, it's
Yeah,
like me saying goodbye to the children at the porch as they go in school. You know, they do math, they go to, and then they do lunch, and then they play in a pack, and then they got sports, and then they come back from home and go, like that. You're just like, the sustain was unbelievable.
That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. And like, you know, just a beautiful song. Really, really beautiful, you know.
I wouldn't like to bring the keyboardist at the end because you just had to hold one note. And Gary tried to finish that song for about 10 minutes, and just when you think he's going to do it, you know, and then everyone's waving. But phenomenal.
Great. And it sounded great and it looked great. And I mean, he had a good looking crowd as well. You know, they did like to zoom in on the pretty ladies, didn't they?
I reckon. Yeah, I know. I actually thought just like it was like model. It's just like, I wonder if they're rented in. If the ugly, turn to the left, please. Ugly, turn. Oh, you can go to the right, you know. But yeah, they're absolutely phenomenal. And he played on a Strat before, and now he's played on a Les Paul, and it's that thicker sound. And it's got all that sustain on there. I love it. I really phenomenal speed and tone and sustain and build up.
It had real feeling to it, didn't it? You know, it was like.
What do you think about the band behind him?
What's that?
What do you think about the band behind him? You know, the Igor on keyboard. He just came down from Vulcan. But what do you think of their ability, the keyboardist and the drummer?
I think it was almost like not noticeable because that wasn't what I was listening to at all in the slightest. You know, I mean, you know, that was all Gary Moore all the time. That one, I think. You know,
I wonder if it was difficult to work with because that was a really average lineup behind him. And you said it has to be all Gary Moore.
Right.
I wonder if he just, you know, if he was difficult because the band were, you know, could have been so much better. But as you said, it's all Gary Moore. I wonder if he was just like they were hired or he liked to keep them at that level and not let them shine in any way, or
I don't know. I mean, you know, people weren't there to see the band. They were there to see Gary Moore. You know, it's the Gary Moore band, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know? Or Gary Moore experience.
If you went to see the Jimi Hendrix experience, you went to see Jimi Hendrix. But if you had Mitch Mitchell, you know, behind him and a really good band behind him, it's, you know, it's just phenomenal.
It changes the experience, like we saw in that Maui video. Of just check out our archive, Guitar Gods Part 1, Jimi Hendrix, my choice, in Maui. Unbelievable.
Yeah, because it had Mitch Mitchell on drums, but then it had Billy Cox on bass, and Billy Cox was way better than all. Anyway, we're digress. So the band for Gary Moore, for me, were really subpar, but maybe that's what Gary Moore wanted, and it had to be all Gary Moore because, you know, they weren't allowed to shine anyway, and they were so straight down the line. It was, you know,
I mean, they're just laying a bed for him, aren't they? They're laying a bed that he plays on top of, and does his thing, you know, in that performance, particularly that song. That song is all Gary all the time.
Sure, all Gary all the time, all day, all night.
With that sustain, it's still going. That was in what year was that? Like, you know, it's still, that note is still holding somewhere out there.
2010. That was 2010, and apparently it's going to go on for the year. You know,
that note is just passing the sun on. It's like heading out of the universe at some point now. So
anyway, absolutely brilliant. Now we have the impossible task of scoring it. So it is time for
bangers or wangers.
Welcome back. All right.
This is going to be a tough one.
It's my track.
Yeah.
So you go first.
Oh, thank you. Like you said, band were not noticeable, which was, I think, was intentional. But he was magic. Like, just I mean, I didn't even really. I mean, you asked the question about the band. I really didn't see them or notice them. I wasn't paying attention to the band in the slightest. It was just what he was doing the whole time, and
it is. I suppose it is Gary Moore, not Gary Moore and the Comets.
yeah, right, exactly.
It's just Gary Moore.
It was Gary Moore, and that was it. And yeah, they were just like laying down the sort of underlying structure for him to play upon. And so yeah, so I'm my whole scoring is going to be on Gary Moore because that's what we're listening to. And I think it's a cracking track. It's a classic track, that one. I'm going.
Is it cheesy in any way?
It has an element of cheese to it, you know, a little bit of fromage there.
I mean, it wasn't a large slice of fromage.
I think it's a great showcase of his skills. You know, and you know, so I'm going 9.1. 9.1 for me.
All right. You know, for me, it technically was unbelievable. Tone was unbelievable. Performance was very unbelievable. The band were really mediocre and poor. But the song was cheesy, but it's about the solo. He had models. Right, I have to just go for 9. It's
a 9. All right, yeah, okay, that's fair. So let's get the computer fired up.
Put some coal in.
Put the coal in. Get the steam going. 9 and a 9.1 is an 18.1.
Correct.
Whoa! Thank God for that. Right, let's see where we're going. Oh, it's coming the same as ELO, Mr. Blue Sky. So it comes down to the fight. Who's going to win the fight? Is it ELO or is it Gary Moore?
It's Jeff Lynne versus Gary Moore. Gary Moore will, for sure.
Yeah, but remember ELO, he had the whole string section.
Gary Moore has got cuts on his face from when he was in a bar fight because someone insulted his girlfriend and someone bottled him. And that's why he looks pained when he does a lot of those notes. Apparently, after that, he changed and he did a lot more of those motions. And I think it was to hide scars. So he got bottled. So you take your Jeff Lynne and...
This time I'll give it to you. Okay? All right? So, yeah, I mean, he was from Ireland as well, and they're tough nuts out there. Yeah.
Blow them up. There's no fighting. It'd just be a telephone call, then a blow up. Right.
Oh, right. So there we go. Gary Moore. He's Led Zepp Gallows Pole is still holding its second position. Led Zepp, Dazed and Confused. That was great, that track. If we ever get it past the copyright restrictions, check out Dazed and Confused. That was a lovely, like, you know, another long track.
Hopefully that Led Zepp 1 and 2 are coming out shortly because, as George said, we got totally slapped.
Copyright issues.
Copy slap, whatever. But there's Gary Moore. He did well. So he's between ELO and Led Zepp. He's really high up for this.
Yeah. Our list is building. Hell of a collection. So
it was great. It was really good. Well, look, I appreciate that, and thank you, Rob Allen, for suggesting that. If there are if there are more, then put them in down there, and we'd love to. We'd love to copy. We'd love to
like, subscribe. You know, it makes us very happy. We do pay attention, and the comments. Keep the comments coming. Keep the discussion. I think we build our own little community of people who love great music, and we can chat about it and be silly about it, and that's awesome.
Good. I appreciate that as well. Okay, I want to be in. All right. Thank you very much.
Excellent.
Say good night.
Good night.